Hey, this is Tim O'Brien for No Cover Music Magazine, American Guitar Boutique, and the Songwriter Showdown here in the Rivertown area. We're here interviewing some of the judges that are making this happen. Keep your eye out. We've got a lot of talented people in this town, and we're doing a singer-songwriter showdown with the winners to come on future episodes. So hang out with us and take a listen to tonight's show. So I'm here at Trevioli's Italian Kitchen with Kim and Jan from the Songwriter Showdown. I want to ask you guys, tell me a little bit about how you got started and what your involvement is.
Nona and I, about 15 years ago, actually started a group called NSAI, and it's Nashville Songwriters Association International out of Nashville. They have chapters all over the country. And we started there and have just in the last 3 years, I believe, evolved to Columbus Songwriters Guild. And so since that time, we've been hosting songwriter competitions, and it has been so exciting. Am I right?
You're right.
Because there is so much talent in this town. Absolutely. And we've seen it here in 5 weeks, right?
Right.
4 weeks.
Right.
Tonight's the 5th week, I think.
Right, it is.
Yes. And so the final's coming up on the 5th. So, yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, that's next week.
So Jan, how did you get involved with the group?
This is my second year,
Okay.
and I got the call last year and was excited to come. I'm a retired music teacher. So, and some of my former students have been winners of the contest before last year, however.
That's awesome.
I think I would back away if one of my students was up there competing. But I've just been dumbfounded at how much talent there is in this area.
Well,
amazing.
So I'm assuming you both are musicians, obviously, if you are a music teacher, and songwriters?
I don't write, really. I've written a couple, but I've not liked them. So,
Yeah.
But I've been a musician for 40 plus years.
So we've been doing this show now for about 2 years and have not had a single moment where we were at lack of talented artists in this valley.
Just the opposite. Some nights we go out and don't know how we're going to come out. There's so much talent, it's just hard to choose. You know?
So what inspires you girls to put your personal time and effort into helping promote other people's dreams?
That drive for creativity, that's the same reason that I taught music. It's the same passion.
That's awesome.
And original music. There is nothing like original music. My favorite place in the whole world other than the beach is the Bluebird Cafe, and that is watching songwriters perform their songs that you hear on the radio all the time, and the difference is just amazing.
Yeah.
I'd rather hear the songwriter than Tim McGraw, but don't tell him that, because I wrote a song for him too.
I will tell you that it's all a necessary process, but it starts with the songwriter, absolutely. What instrument do you play?
Play guitar and keyboard.
And you?
Piano and voice.
Piano and voice. And you teach piano and voice?
I did.
So if people are inspired by what we're showing and what we're hearing, how do they get a hold of the organization to try and see if they have a place to come out and express their talent?
We have a Facebook page, it's Columbus Songwriters Guild.
You might want to know that.
Right? And if you go to that page, you can reference several other ways from that page.
Yeah.
So if you hit Songwriters Guild, Columbus Songwriters Guild, it'll bring up several options. And Nona's the word you want to look for.
And
or just type in Nona. That comes up too.
Right.
Nona.
Okay. And do you guys perform out live?
All the time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I am tonight.
Is that right?
I'm going to open the show.
You're the opener. I heard that one of the judges was opening, so that's
yeah,
awesome.
well, Jan got last week, and this one's mine. So
I played 2 gigs last weekend also.
That's awesome. And do you play with a group or solo?
Both.
What's the name of your group?
I was an original member of the Snakebite 6 Dixieland Band
Yeah?
when it was founded over 40 years ago, and I still work with them. We packed out the loft 2 weekends ago on Friday night. So
That's awesome.
And then last weekend I worked a duo in Pine Mountain at Warm Springs Cellars, and I'm up there once a month on a Saturday night. And the places that I play, I rotate into generally.
Well, that's normally the sign of a good musician when they keep having you back constantly.
Well, people ask me when I'm going to stop, and I say when they stop calling.
That's right. Well, we really appreciate your guys' time and sharing your passion with us. And hopefully we'll get some more foot traffic and get more talent in here that you guys can judge, encourage, and show the way forward. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tim.
So we're here at the Songwriter Showdown with one of the judges, Miss Anastasia. I want to ask you, how long have you been involved with this group?
With the Showdown group as a judge, actually, from the very beginning. And we began this wonderful project at the Loft. We were there 3 times. It was called the Rivertown Showdown then. And I was tapped to be a judge early on. And so I've been through this. This is the 5th time now we're doing this. And it just seems to get better and better.
There's a lot of talent in this area, and we're fortunate to have people like you that are helping people promote themselves and showcase it. What drives you to spend so much of your busy schedule dedicating it to what you're doing here tonight?
I love Columbus and what a town this size has to offer in general, but musically, we've got hidden talent that is just abundant. And finding an outlet for these folks in a venue like this where people are really here to listen. It's not so much a bar environment, and it's about the song and the writing, not just the performing. So anyway, that's, I think, what we're offering is an avenue by which they can be heard and maybe even make their first amount of little money. Some of these folks have never been professional before. And it's just the camaraderie, too, they find here with other songwriters is a really special thing. And we hope to continue it and we have a Nashville-based songwriter group as well that meets for a song circle and just to kind of share ideas once a month.
And you write?
I do write, yes.
And in play?
I don't play, and I'm so glad you asked that because I'm one of these people that needs a partner, and so it's a great place for lyricists to find a composer and a composer to find a lyricist, and I'm a poetry writer really, but also definitely a songwriter.
And when you write, do you have a melodic idea in mind for it, or do you leave that to your co-writer?
I sometimes do, and I can hum it along, or I can kind of play with, the piano a bit. So I'll have an idea of a feel, but it's very interesting to get together with a really good musician, and specifically a composer who hears the music. In fact, Scott Singer, I think you're going to interview, or who you know, hears music more than he does lyrics. So we'd be a good team, and we're planning to do that. And again, we met down here with all the songwriters, and it's a great opportunity for someone who doesn't play an instrument like me, but writes.
There's a lot of opportunity for music outside of playing in a bar. Do you guys promote or inspire avenues for people accessing, getting their music out to the general public, or is your main idea just encouragement of the writing process?
Well, Nona, who's in charge of this whole wonderful thing, really has a great connection with Nashville and finds every opportunity she can to allow us to submit songs to management and, in other words, I mean, Reba McEntire, for example, was looking recently for a song, and we had sort of a straight channel to that. So there's a reason to come and be involved with us. We're also involved with some veteran support groups and bringing songwriters in, professional writers from Nashville, and performers to write songs for veterans' families. And some of these folks here can tell you more about that. But absolutely, we're all about other avenues, and certainly not the bar scene, which is the reason for this.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. Music is a positive thing in most people's lives, and I think it's a wonderful thing that you are helping people get their personal journeys out there. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tim, and thank you for being a place with your shop that people can go and feel supported and find what they need in this town with a lot of people that are into music.
Well,
so we appreciate you too.
We try not to be a retail store. We try and be a lifestyle place for people like us, so it's a positive thing.
That's exactly it. And I just want to say that although this is a competition, we want it to be a supportive environment that nurtures songwriters and that really in the end keeps this group together.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You have a great night tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
So, we're here with the lady in the middle of all of this chaos is Miss Nona Christie, and she's been a driving force in creating this whole thing. You started to tell me how this all evolved, and this is a great story, so I'd really like to share it with the audience, if you would.
From the beginning.
Yes, ma'am.
Years ago, at the Loft, Buddy Nelms and Pat Patton and myself sat down and said, we need an audience, we need a room for songwriters where people listen. So we put together this. And it was like everybody paid $2 to get in, and everybody had a ballot. And we had 8 songwriters at that time. And then every night the judges went, we had judges, and the judges went out and they tallied their vote. And then we had the audience vote to go, and that helped to decide who, of course it helped bring people in, but it also helped to firm up the vote. I mean, the best songwriter that night. And you know what songwriters really like? They like people to listen. When you go to a bar or to a restaurant where they're eating and drinking and talking, they don't really hear it. You'll be surprised in a little bit when we start. This is a true listening room. They listen to every word. The judges have sheets to judge, so they need to be quiet so the judges can do it. But this has been an awesome, awesome experience.
So I have questions about your judging criteria and how you came up with the parameters in which you judge by.
We were part of a Nashville organization of songwriting for about 13 years. And so from that, we learned how to craft a better song. You can sing to your grandmother and your mother and they're going to love it no matter what. But if you really want people to listen, that first line needs to be awesome. And if you put a bridge in it, it needs to have the turnaround or it needs to have the hook. And so it's that type thing. It's kind of what you're looking for the best song out there. Last week, the 2 that won were absolutely amazing. One of the songwriters talked about a cousin, I believe, that had been in Vietnam and all the things that happened to him, Agent Orange and alcohol and all these things. So he died in Vietnam, but the last line in the song was, he died in Vietnam, but we buried him today. Now, that's awesome. That's awesome. And the one that won was really good too. So, they're looking for that kind of thing, the kind of thing that makes you want to hear the song again, either the melody or the lyrics. Country music's driven a lot by lyrics, and where some of the other genres are more melody and music and so forth. Mm-hmm. So, but everything has been here. It's been awesome. Out of 30 songwriters in this whole event, we've had 18 new songwriters to join the group or to come forward and want to share their songs.
I'm interested in talking to you about your view on this because I've been in a position to be a judge at a musical competition before, and to me it was one of the most difficult things to do.
Absolutely.
Mostly because you are judging within a criteria, but sometimes your passion and what you love comes out but doesn't necessarily match the criteria of what's called for to be judged by.
Absolutely.
And when you're talking about art and someone's passion, it's so hard to put a thumbs up and thumbs down to that.
Right.
Have you been able to kind of find the balance between what is passionate and what is created from a craft point of view?
Well, now the judges, we have 5 different judges that have rotated, and they all have their own interest and their own passion. So I've been in at the end where they're next door deciding, and I mean, they're almost in a fight over there about different. I mean, it's really, really hard for them. They have had a hard time. That's why I don't even tell them who's on this every night, so that they don't have a chance to even think about it until they hear the songs. And you know what? I don't like competition. I'd rather we just have a songwriter night, but then we can't draw the people in. This brings an audience, and it gives them a listening room to perform their songs. I'd rather, when it's over, leave, but we've promised them prizes and a final next week. Next week's really going to be something. 10 songwriters, and we have Laurie Lee from PNB Radio is going to be one of the judges, so that's good.
And you write?
I do lyrics. I played the piano, took piano early in my life, but the music part was never my real passion, but I do the lyrics, and I've written with a lot of our guys, and I love promoting. I'm in marketing at my job, and it's like, why not do something to give them a stage?
Well, what you're doing is awesome, because we do have a very creative valley here in the Alabama, Georgia, Rivertown area.
Right.
And it's really nice to find people that are willing to take time out of their life to help other people explore and promote their passion.
And that's what you do.
Well, I try.
Yeah.
I try. And I kind of play both sides of the coin, because I like to
play as well.
To play and write and everything
That's
as
right.
well. But
That's right.
But there's nothing more inspiring than seeing, in my opinion, people doing what they were meant to do, or what they gives them love and passion. So
Absolutely.
it's really great, and I
Thanks.
can't tell you how much I appreciate you putting out the effort to this.
Thank
I'm
you.
very happy that we're able to be here and talk to you about it. And everybody that we've interviewed so far has praised you largely for being the spearhead for this.
I paid them
whole
really well to do this, No,
I'm sure you
they're
do.
They're all passionate about what they do. In fact, when we finished a year and a half ago at the tavern, they're all saying, when are we going to do this again? And so they're ready to come back. The judges all love it.
Well, what I hope with this show is that people that do write and aren't aware of your efforts will be able to find you.
Thank you.
So one thing that I want to ask you is, if someone's at home and they're watching this show and they go, I write and I have a passion for that, how can they get a hold of you? How can they try and submit stuff to be considered to be on the bill? And when is the next one that's going to be started? Because I know this one is wrapping up, but I know you said that you were going to continue to do this.
Right. We were talking about that. I think maybe because of the holiday coming, we might wait as late as January, unless we just are bombarded with requests. So we might do it early, but right now we're thinking January. And there's a new Facebook page that we started for this, and it's Songwriter Showdown again. And that's just because we've had pages before, and we want them to know this is the one. And if they'll get on there and just on the little comment page, tell them, if they'll give me their name, then we'll ask them to join the Columbus Songwriting Guild, and then they'll see everything we do, not just the competition, but everything that we do. Because that is the group that we meet and that we get together. And
how often do you get together?
Well, for all of these years, the second Thursday of every month. And we talk about crafting a song. Right now, we're going to take a break and do more performances instead of that until I'm planning right now. I'm trying to get some songwriters to come in and do a seminar for us and a concert. So, in fact, I just had a phone call from Nashville, so we'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for everything that you do for the music community around here, and it's a blessing to be able to interview you.
And thank you for all that you do. And thanks for being here tonight. It's a mess right now, isn't it?
No, we're okay. Here we are at Trebbioli's Italian Kitchen with Gary Hatley. We are, Gary's one of the judges here. What brings you into this circle of people and inspires you to give your personal time to be involved?
Well, I've been a musician my entire life. Don't play live much anymore, but I support it as best I can. Close to 30 years ago, I opened a club downtown with my friend Buddy Nelms, The Loft. and we booked singer-songwriters. That was the format back then, and so I got to meet Nona because she supported that group. She loves singer-songwriters, and so I've had a history of whenever she has these kind of competitions, she always calls on me. If I'm available, I come in and I judge.
So how do you feel about what goes on here and the idea of giving singer-songwriters a way to get their stuff out?
Good question. I absolutely love it, Tim. There's the fact that they can have a place where they can perform their music live. First of all, it's a creative aspect that brings them here to start with, and it's a way for them to express that with a live audience instead of just sitting at their house and around their family and friends. And they get feedback. They get. I don't think most of the people that come here really don't care if they win or not. They just want to perform and they just want to share their gift that they have.
Do you find it difficult to judge within a criteria, or is that comfortable for you?
That's another good question. I do not find it comfortable to judge within a criteria. I don't care to judge people to start with because everybody's different and they're all gifted in one way or another. The fact that we have a criteria to judge, like if the bridge was done well, or if what grade the hook. Some people write and they don't put a bridge or a hook in it. You know, it's like it's difficult to judge that.
One chord.
That's right. And some of the biggest hits ever were just 3 chords. And you being a blues man, you certainly appreciate that. You know, so it's just I don't really like the judging process. I tried to opt out of it, quite frankly, this time. But they've had some people that had some other commitments that couldn't judge, and she's called on me, and she's such a good person and she's passionate. I just want to support her more than anything.
Truly, you're supporting the community by being part of this, and that's super appreciative. I always wonder about the judging thing. I was a judge once, and I found it really uncomfortable because the winner won by how they balanced in the criteria, as opposed to maybe being the best performer, but didn't hit all the boxes and stuff. And so sometimes I wonder, do you allow passion and creativity to skew how you judge within the criteria?
To answer that, where I struggle the most is realizing that this is not a vocal competition. This is a songwriting competition. Right. And sometimes if somebody comes up and they don't have a really good voice, but the songs are really well written and thought through, and it tells a good story or whatever the case may be regarding the song, it's sometimes hard for me to turn off the switch that says, okay, the guy can't sing worth a flip, but he wrote the best song of the night.
You know, actually that was the greatest answer, because you're right. And sometimes a writer of a great song maybe needs to find somebody else to perform it, but the song itself will stand on its own. So.
Sheryl Crow did it for years until she finally sang one, and look now what it's done, you know. But you're right. There's tons of people doing the happy dance at the mailbox because they're getting royalties off a song they wrote, and they can't sing worth the flip. Well, so we need songwriters.
That's probably the most inspirational answer that we've gotten tonight, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it.
So this thing, I believe it's going to get legs, and it's going to continue on as it's continued for years, and maybe we'll be doing this a lot more often. And,
I hope so.
Give it up for Gary Hatley. He's one of the guys that have given the opportunity for the singers and songwriters to come out and share what they write. If you're interested in being involved, we have given you the Facebook page, and we're just happy to be here. So thanks so much for
allowing
us the opportunity to come and chat with you guys.
I appreciate it.